the Dolphins going into the offseason, they add A-Chain. You're like, oh, they got faster. They add Chosen Anderson. I don't know when they'll probably use him.
Robbie Chosen.
Robbie Chosen, which is funny because at first he changed his name Chosen Anderson, and then when he saw it didn't make it to his nameplate, he was like, I got to go back to the DMV. Like, you again? Yeah, did you see me on Sunday? It just says Anderson.
You need another novelty plate?
I wanted yeah, exactly. You're going back to the DMV.
Chosen jerseys going up in sales.
Yeah,
baby.
but he's out there catching touchdowns. I guess the time you'd see him would be a 50-point lead. The Dolphins were at times last year as good as anybody offensively. And you go to the offseason, you look at the AFC elites, you're like, how are they tinkering with? Because usually you say, who are the new additions? How is the team changing? Who'd they lose? I mean, you pick up guys like David Long, you pick up guys like Jalen Ramsey, but the biggest addition that they made was they said, hey, we're going to work on two things. Number one, protecting Tua, because when he's clean, he's elite. Because when he's clean, he's
His
elite.
field vision is wicked.
I mean, he's the opposite of Justin Fields. He's the anti-Justin Fields.
A little early.
Well, hold on. He doesn't have a huge arm, but
early in the
what
day
he does
is what I mean.
is when all these quarterbacks you're seeing on Sundays that don't process, that you're like, go, throw the ball. You never have that problem with Tua. So if you can protect him, you can find space. They already know that. And then second was the run game. And, hey, if we can add this lethal tool to our tool belt here, we're going to be unstoppable. And that's what it was yesterday. I mean, play 3, Tyreek's wide open. They overcame a 1st and 20 twice in one drive. They're doing no-look shovels. They're like, fuck it, we'll get the rookie some work because I don't think, Vance Joseph in Denver's very good at all. You think what Dan Lanning did was insensitive to the state of Colorado. Look what Mike McDaniel did to Vance Joseph. It was brutal. And, A-Chain goes for 203, 8-2 a pop, 351 rushing, 700 yards of offense.
Not even 20 carries for A-Chain.
Second all-time to the Rams, Norm Van Brocklin in 51 against the Yankees.
I remember that name. I don't know.
The Yankees. So Dolphins have the 5 fastest speeds this year.
That was a football team?
For ball carriers. Yeah, I guess so, unless I heard that wrong. A-Chain 21-9, bro. My son got shot off a treadmill at 8 miles an hour. Yeah, a couple weeks ago. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm running on the treadmill. I'm taking little breaks in between. I'm doing push-ups. Do not get on that treadmill. Okay, Dad. Next thing you know, he gets shot out the back. And when I tell you,
is there a wall there? Or
luckily, there was something to stop him.
Oh.
There was no wall, but he was going to go into the pile of dumbbells and the whole thing. But that's 8 miles an hour. Can you imagine running 22 miles an hour? Speeding in the school zone, man. And so they got the 5 fastest ball carriers. Again, you got Chosen Anderson, Mike White, outscoring the Jets. Okay, that's got to feel good. But, how they did it, the edges, and then they knife you downhill. And I think, putting in the gap scheme elements of this offense, the pin pull, getting Armstead out on the second level, it adds an element to, the Shanahan tree that you're seeing in some other places. And the layering, Kyle, defensive players. Nate, you know how it is. I mean, we weren't off ball, but when you get motion one way, a pull the other way, and then it's like, oh fuck, it's
you gotta have
Too many things to look at.
real disciplined linebackers
That's
to get
it.
everyone lined up and kind of foreshadow a lot of that stuff. And it's hard in the moment to get those calls to react confidently.
Well, they tinker with the motion on half field stuff. So, that's a wrinkle that's really tough for teams. I mean, it's tough with the motion anyways. But the whole thing is the concept is layering looks pre-snap. Mm-hmm. Layers of information and checklists that you have to go through as a defender.
Watch stretch, watch boot. Next thing you know, it's gap, and a gap is a gash, and then it's big, deep play action off of the gap look that you're looking for stretch for originally. Mike McDaniel has these guys in a pretzel mentally. Not just the coordinators, obviously, who have their work cut out for them, but the guys on the field, like you're talking about. Pre-snap is an issue. Post-snap is an issue. A lot of the motions you see in the league are to determine man and zone. A lot of the motions you see from Mike McDaniel is getting a running start, like CFL style.
Yeah, yeah.
The shit is awesome, like the Kyle Shanahan stuff.
It's like the future of football. Sometimes we get a glimpse into it, and then people catch up. Or I don't think anybody's going to be able to replicate having an MVP candidate at wide receiver, Jalen Waddle, all the speed they have at running back,
And
like
a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, well, he's pretty fucking good, but I don't put him in the Hall of Fame now, Kyle. Somebody's gonna have a problem with that. Last week I thought we really sucked off the Dolphins, but I had the same gal in my mentions like,
You had to
you
suck 'em
just
more
don't
this
like
week."
Tua. You know what I did? I blocked her. Are you still listening?
Oh.
So anyways, I like the rushers can't get into a rhythm, like you're keeping them clean. That O-line's done a nice job, but here's, if I was going to illustrate, if somebody was like, how scary was the Broncos the Dolphins offense yesterday, I would have said one thing. So 21-10, by the way, didn't get to third down but like 7 times on the day. It's 21-10 in the first half with 5 to go in the second quarter. So the Dolphins are going to go backed up. They give it to Ingold, which is their only blemish on the day, is giving the ball to your white fullback when you've got speed everywhere.
Fullback's had a big day.
I know. Okay. There was some tough 4th and short calls yesterday.
The whole day.
But the point is, here you got an opportunity. You stuff them. You're Denver. You're down 21-10. You don't get points. You absolutely need to get points. You didn't get points. And then you go to the half 5 minutes later, down 35-13.
It was like watching a Madden video game.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's just like when you're playing against someone who's really good and then like you do the 3 random teams and they get a fucking offense like Miami and you just know what's going to happen. Like that's what it looks like. It feels like McDaniel's like he sits at home and
field.
Yeah, he plays Madden and he looks at all the different like schematics and motions and things like that you can do and he's like, "Yo, you know what? I can mimic this in real life. I can score this many points because to go 10 drives, five rushing touchdowns, 5 passing touchdowns, that's a Madden game. That's what you do when you're beating up on your little brother in the game.
And it feels the same as getting beat by some guy that never played football, because if I played Madden right now, some 13-year-old kid would beat me, and that's how Vance Joseph feels. He's like, I've been a football guy my whole life. Well, 5 touchdowns through the air, 5
This
on
is
the
no
ground,
longer
Vance.
football. It's blitzkrieg.
This is a totally different deal now. And, for Vance Joseph, I'm looking at you because – I'm looking at Sean Payton, who had comments about the coaching and that sort of thing. But the offense has improved. I got to say that. Like, people are talking about benching Russell Wilson. I'm like, you didn't watch the game.
They're stupid.
You didn't watch the game. But when it comes to the defense, I just watched them give up 30-something points to the Commanders. They got blanked at home against Buffalo. That's how far off you are. And I said this yesterday. I think, Kyle, you want to talk about trades? Remember Sean Payton and a certain trade?
1 and 2.
I think we go, hey, kick the tires on Bill Belichick. Send everything to New England. Give me Bill. I'll take him off your hands, Robert. You're not as happy. And then we've got Sean Payton and Bill running the show, offense and defense. I'm not totally serious, but you can imagine if something like that happened, because that's what it would take. The defense is so bad.
Funny because they had Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
Which is like.
It is funny. It is funny. It's funny. It's not a
and
laughing
Vic's,
funny.
And Vic's in Miami like.
Yeah, he's.
Hey, boys. Mortimer.
Yeah, so anyways,